Hey notaries and apostille agents, in this video I'm going to go ahead and be speaking about the startup costs associated with becoming an apostille agent. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of high costs for this. I would love to think that it's zero, and I think in most cases it will be zero. But let's go ahead and speak about the equipment that you will need to complete apostilles. So I would say the number one is internet connection. As long as you have Wi-Fi connection, that's probably one of the most important things that you will need associated with becoming an apostille agent. Why would you need Wi-Fi connection? That's so that you could communicate with your clients, send emails back and forth if you do need to do that. You may be asking, well, if an apostille agent, all they do is collect original documents that need to be apostilled from the client, why would they need internet access? Well, if you do plan to just collect original documents from your clients, then you might not need an internet connection. However, if you plan to have your clients email you copies of a document so that you could create a copy certification by document custodian to therefore get that document apostilled and then attach that to the copy that they want apostilled, then in that case you will need a internet connection. So I would say internet connection is one of them. So if you don't have internet, then that will be associated with your startup cost. A second startup cost would be owning a printer. Being able to print the documents that your clients email you. So again, if you don't plan to have your documents emailed to you, to have your clients email documents to you, then this might not be a cost that's associated with you. And then if you do happen to already have Wi-Fi and a printer, then these costs will not affect you. But yeah, definitely have a printer so that you could print out the documents that your clients email you. So that's a must if you do plan to do it that way. So those two things, a printer and internet access. So depending on where you live, we're going to see different prices on the internet. Here in California, we're looking at anywhere between like $60 a month. I would say maybe on the lower end, like 40 or 30. I don't know anybody that pays 30. Almost everybody I know pays 60, 65 around there. So that's what I'm looking at, an average cost for Wi-Fi, anywhere between 50 to 60. And then we're looking at a like installation fee. I'm not too familiar with installation fee. I got mine installed years ago, so I don't remember how much I paid. But you're going to have to include that in the startup cost. So you have your installation fee, you got your Wi-Fi fee, and you got your printer fee. Aside from that, I really cannot think of any other startup cost. When the client comes to you, you should be charging the client up front. I always recommend that you charge the client up front. Why? Because these documents, even though your client says that they're very important to them, which I'm sure they are, because usually you're apostilling birth certificates, death certificates, they don't always pick them up right away. Sometimes these documents get left behind for a month or two, especially when they haven't paid for the document. It's happened to me in the very beginning when I was first apostilling documents. Clients would leave documents there for about a month or two, and then that's when I would get paid. So I stopped doing that. Even if clients say, oh, but it's my first time working with you, can I please pay you once the job is done? I always say no. The answer is always no. Again, fall in love with saying no. So whenever they ask if they could pay after, I always say no. They always pay me up front, and then I've never had an issue with someone picking up a document coincidentally when they paid up front. Very weird. So yeah, they've always have them pay up front. Therefore, that will cover your shipping if there is a shipping cost associated with you getting the document to the Secretary of State's office. So if you're not living in a city that has a Secretary of State's office where you can walk in this original document to get it apostilled, then you will more than likely have to mail it to someone that can. So there's a cost associated with getting the document apostilled. Now, this wouldn't be considered necessarily a startup cost, but if it's your first transaction ever and you forgot to charge the client up front, then you're going to have to cover that shipping fee to get it to the agent that could go ahead and walk it in to the Secretary of State's office. Now, when I say agent, this isn't like a licensed person or anything. It could literally be someone that you know that could walk it in there, or it could be a stranger that you met online that's going to walk it in there for you. It's always better to send someone you know, but if you don't have anybody, then send who you can. But you will more than likely have to pay that person to walk it in to the Secretary of State's office. So there's another cost added to that. Again, if you charge the client up front, this isn't a startup cost anymore. But if you didn't and you forgot, so you're looking at the shipping fee and the payment to the person walking into the Secretary of State's office, and then you're also paying the government fee that they will charge you to apostille and certify that document. It ranges. It depends on each state. Here in California, we pay $20. I know in different states it's $3, some states $5. So it all just depends. So you do have to cover that charge. After that charge, you have to cover the shipping back. So those are the costs associated with apostille. Again, always charge the client up front, but if you didn't, then you're looking at those extra fees. Aside from the printing and the Wi-Fi, I can't really think of any other fees that would be associated with becoming an apostille agent and handling this type of business. So I would say that for anybody that's looking to make extra income, this is a great business opportunity because it does not require a large startup fee. If I did miss any, please go ahead and leave them in the comments below. In the description box, there is a link to the class. The class is 100% free. The education for apostilles is 100% free on my website. However, there is a marketing fee, and this marketing fee will make sure that you become connected to clients in your area, guaranteed, and we look forward to having you sign up. As you can see, there are very little costs associated with becoming an apostille agent. For most, it'll be zero, as explained in the video, so it is a very attractive and lucrative opportunity for many. So we suggest that you get started and join this industry, as it is not a very congested industry. It is very lucrative and has very little startup costs. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you for the next one.